Little Leon. Alrighty. Can I not open my VS Code? I did not. Things. Don't cough on me. Oh my god, look who is back. Look who is back. Actually do one thing. I kind of got bored of this wallpaper that we're using. I need to change this to something else. Let's change it to this guy. Can't code without VS Code, exactly. How are you guys doing? How's your apartment getting along, Cedric? I miss you, man. Ah, it's this crap, right? Yeah. Let me just paste this shit in there. Upload. Ah, what the fuck happened here? Huh? It's a house. Oh yeah, I feel your pain, man. I feel your pain. I grew up in a house with my parents, so I know it's a never-ending project and a very expensive one as well. Yeah, well, that's good, right? I guess you probably don't want to complain about that one. Having a great house, that's amazing. Having a big house, I mean. I think it's this one, right? Yeah. Shit. Come on, man. It's this one, right? Yeah. Is there something else? Nope. Alright, so what if I say install background, right? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, when you get kids, man, and when the family grows, for sure it's gonna be better, right? It's gonna be very useful, right? All right, cool. No. All right, cool. I'll be lurking in VS Code. Yeah. All right, so, well, what's up, guys? How is life? How are you? How are things going? Tired. Yeah, I feel your pain, man. I feel your pain. What did I want to do? Giving up full of pain. Right. Ah, shit, wait, I didn't set up the YouTube chat. Give me a second. I didn't set up the YouTube chat in my editor. How do I check what my live stuff here, right? I'm just going to good evening, YouTube. Good evening, YouTube. I'm sorry, I just need to configure the chat so I can read it in my OBS, right? Because that's where I read you got all of the chat. Give me 1 second. Custom, yes, YouTube live. All right, great. Now I can see it. Great, super. Programmer network finished? No, I don't think we ever had deadline. We will never have it. But for sure, I will probably stream a lot less. I mean, I'm already streaming less, right? It's kind of, I don't think that, yeah, I don't think that I'm going to be streaming much, honestly, as the future goes. Mainly because it's kind of, how would I explain it? I'm kind of losing the incentive to stream. I'm not feeling it that much anymore, honestly. And also, I think I'm going to be streaming more strategically in a sense when as I build this platform. I may be going to stream a bit to showcase some of the features, right? But I think generally, I've been kind of thinking, you know, lately about Twitch and all of this stuff. And you know, I've been observing a little bit, you know, I've been observing a little bit the community of streaming and all of that. And it seems to me that mostly the streams which are popular, right? It's just people talking without anything else, right? If you kind of look at the most popular viewers, right, they're just talking crap pretty much the entire stream. So what am I saying? Well, I'm just saying that people don't actually want to watch programming. They just want to talk crap, right? So it's more, I think, Yeah, it's unproductive, but it's also it's not even about that. It's more that it's not something that at least I feel that people want to watch, right? I mean, people are gonna come for an advice. They will try to kind of gain some value out of it, right? And I see that, but it's more that I don't feel that people actually want that, right? It's more about, hey, let's just chat. You know, I'm gonna go somewhere and kill some time, right? So I'll have to kind of rethink it a little bit. It's not that I'm gonna stop streaming, of course not. It's just yeah, it's gonna have to be focused on me and not the stream, right? So, you know, because it's yeah. I mean, I've been coding some stuff last night for Programmer Network, and it was beautiful, right? Just silence, just me enjoying good music, had some drinks, right? So I think mostly we're gonna go there and then stream occasionally when I want, right? But I think it's a little bit useless, right? All right. Okay. Well, with that said, anyway, let's kind of get started a little bit. I've been kind of doing a lot of work off stream, and one thing that I think that we should do is so if we go to our Yale library, right? We have actually let's open that up because I also saw that we need to do one thing. Front end Louis Gui, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's this thing, all right? So what I wanted to do here, did I open the Yale? I did, right? So we had this image crop thing, right, that we built, and I would like to start actually using that, right? Now when we have improved it and stuff, one thing that I saw whatsoever is that if I take a look at, let's actually run that as well. No, let's go over here. So I'm gonna say City Programmer Network Louis Gui, and I'm gonna run this in Storybook. Yeah, right. Okay. And then if we kind of go to the crop thing, image crop, yes, I think it was this, right? Yeah. So the crop, the movement of the crop doesn't work here because so let's fix that story. So where is it? It's this one, circular crop, aspect 1. Yeah, I think it's because of the set crop thing, right? And that's a little bit weird. Why did I remove that? So should we just, where are we actually here? Yeah, I guess it's just about the story itself, right? Because we are not calling the set crop at all because we don't have any state in here, right? So let's maybe change this a little bit, right? Yeah, so let's do something like this very quickly here. Yeah, so let's just do this and image crop type. So we'll see about that in a second. Why am I not? Yeah, I'm not using that anymore, it seems. Let's take a look at that. And then I guess over here, right, we need to say, you know, crop, exactly, right, something like that. And then here we have to pass set crop, right? So that thing is interactive, but will it be? Let's see. Oh, not yet. Okay. Why are we casting this? It makes no sense. And then I guess, so let's actually go. I forgot like how we implemented this and what is it actually taking, right? So we go over here, so it takes the crop and suck. Okay, I see. All right, cool. So what we're gonna do, we'll just assign this as a default state right over here. I guess that's what I did. And then here I'm gonna say crop, right? I suppose. And now it should be kind of moving, right? Yeah. Baxi friend, good evening. How are you? All right, cool. So that's good. That's better. And it's complaining here that, so let's see what about these types, right? So if you take a look at this, so crop is crop, which is a little bit weird, right? that it doesn't like this. But let's say, what if I say as crop? No, not actually, not really. Master Alex, 25 gold. Good evening, my friend. How are you? Yes, I don't know why it doesn't like this unit. It makes kind of no sense, right? Because it is, I mean, it is a valid unit, right, of the crop. Yeah, so it kind of likes that. Okay, well, whatever, fuck it. All right, well, that's now fixed. That story now at least is fixed, right? So let's take a look at what we have here. So and then we're gonna maybe deploy this, and then we will kind of switch to programming network front, and then I want to use this because we've kind of open sourced this, but also the image input, right? Where is it? I think we had, yeah, image input, this fella here, right? So I want to start using both in programming network, right? So we kind of move them away, and now they actually, I don't know if we have with compression. Let's see. With image crop, yeah, so this example, right? Only images are allowed, okay. Yeah, so now as you can see, this thing to the right is the preview of the size of the image. For example, imagine this is avatar in programming network. So I think, yeah, so this is where we're gonna go now with this. We're gonna kind of start fiddling with this a little bit. And I just don't like that, yeah, this whole space, but we'll see about that. Okay, so going back to image crop, right? What was locked? I don't remember any of these props. Yeah, locked is when, yeah, you can't really enlarge this thing, right? I see. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Okay, so yeah, let's leave that like that. It's okay that we just have one thing, and then basically you should be able to fiddle, right, with the props in here in the storybook. So essentially, yeah, here we can say locked, right? Well, we didn't set up the controls. Okay, that sucks, but we'll see about it. Okay, so that's great. Okay, so if we go to image input here and see how we're actually using it. So if we go to image input, because this is already deployed to npm, so we can already use it. So where's the stories? How am I using that in here? So with image crop, right? So this is our whole thing. Image crop, blah blah blah. Yeah, let's maybe play with that in our programming network frontend, right? So here we are, and if we go to the dashboard, so this is where we're actually uploading the avatar. So let's just search for upload avatar or something like that. Yeah, it's probably this profile, exactly, right? And then I guess I'm passing this somewhere. Select an image, choose a file, exactly. So this is kind of what we want to replace, right? So where is this choose a file? File. This is what we want to replace for sure. Let's find it. If not uploading an avatar, image crop. I think it's this one, image input, right? Yeah. So this one we want to replace, right? With the one that we moved to the actual library. So if I nuke that fella, then we want to upload this, right? Yeah. And here it is, right? So that's great. If we go back to the storybook, to this other project, let's see what we have here. Image stories with image crop, arguments, select an image. So basically, yeah, we're missing a label here. It seems label, upload the avatar, okay? Okay, beautiful. And we need to fix that hover and shit in the button, it's okay. Okay, so we have this. What happens now if I choose this? Yeah, so obviously the props have most likely changed. I think I've changed them. So let's see what on file loaded on change. Okay. Where is it? Max file size allowed, main types, compression enabled, true on file loaded, right? On file loaded, set image. Yeah, so we'll need to kind of adjust this now a little bit so it works with the new thing, with the new change, right? So what did I do here on file loaded? So let's kind of start with this a bit. So if I print this, let's see what's happening here. So let's upload a file. Let's choose something. Are we actually getting any event being fired? No, not really. Programmer network frontend. Yeah, exactly. So why is this not actually being printed? Maybe because Obi, my friend, good evening. How are you? Let's try that again. All right, so now we're getting an error. Type error, cannot read property 75 reading includes. Yeah, that's a little bit weird. Where is this? What am I trying to validate? Ah, okay, so I'm trying. So the validate is failing. Oh, so that's actually good. It's just a little bit weird that we're not getting that error, right? And it's probably the extension itself. So let's actually see. Yeah, most likely. So if we go back here, I think I've changed the property names, right? Select. Master, good evening, buddy. How are you? Image input. And good evening, YouTube fellas. How are you? Okay, so let's get back here, and I guess allowed meme type. So I suppose that is like, do I still have this accept thing? I do, right? Okay, that's a little bit weird. Let's just move some of these fellas in here, right? Oops. So let's just grab this fella. Hello, everybody on YouTube. Good evening. All right, let's see here. Image allowed meme types. Yeah, so let's yeah, I don't remember how I did this, but let's try a few things, and then let's keep fiddling with this. Upload your avatar. So we're just basically replacing. Okay, so almost, right? So now we're getting something, and here's the image. So actually, you should take a look at this little library, right? Because I think I wrote this pretty well. What am I using? So I'm using some React library, right? But this thing is open. So this whole Yale thing is an open source thing. So if you want it, you should take a look at it. I think I wrote it pretty well. Actually, I can share a link on YouTube and GitHub, and Twitch as well. So basically, this Yale is a open source thing, right? That I open source basically the front end from Programmer Network. And actually, if you run this, you can of course install this in your project. But if you're just interested in a specific component, you can go to image crop, so src image crop, right? My pleasure. And then you can see here in the image stories. So that's what. So basically now we're slowly removing those components which are part of the Programmer Network frontend with this library. So that's what we did. I just moved it away. I modularized it into a separate module, and now I'm kind of using it in my own project. So our own library. You can actually see it. We open source few things, but basically it's this thing, right? All right, cool. So let's go back to that. So now we have that. Let's also use the image crop in the Programmer Network frontend, right? So if we go, well, this is the library itself. So where's the image crop? We have it somewhere. Yeah, so let's nuke that as well, and then use it from the one that we actually open source, right? So image crop. And I don't know if these props are still correct. I don't think so. I think we have changed that drastically. So, okay, so something's, let's see. Yeah, so clearly they're not the same, right? So it's okay. So let's see how am I doing it here. Image crop. Okay, so it seems that I've changed some of the props drastically here. So crop and set crop, right? src max height circular drop. Yeah, exactly. I have. Okay. So that is fine. Crop array class name. So that's good. Set crop. Okay. So we need to src still there. Locked. Okay. Crop src. Okay. On complete. Yeah, so it's basically now just using, because I once we open source this, right, I obviously went ahead and improved the props and made it more reusable, right? So it's not just suited for Programmer Network frontend. So that's why okay, so image input stories. So we'll just need to adjust now to that a little bit, right? So upload avatar, where is this? So image crop, yeah, here. So we're gonna, yeah, actually we're gonna leave that there. We're gonna do this. And I think if we go to our storybook here in different project, right, I think it would be safe to just say, hey, let's get this crop thing in here, right? And then we can smack it, and we'll have to clean this up, I think, a lot. And since we're not using TypeScript in this project, we'll need to get rid of this fella here, and yeah, need to do this. That's a very strange copy paste, to be honest. Okay, so let's imagine we do something like this, and then here we'll say crop is crop, and then set crop is set crop. Then we can, yeah, we should probably go back up here and adjust these values to fit the programmer network use case in this context. So I had 112, and max height will try to omit that. So let's see here what's happening now. Does this make any sense or not? Yeah, not yet, it seems. Let's actually see cancel, upload. And of course, it will make sense in a moment, I think. So the handler is great. Technical question: when fetching data from DB, should you use this try? Some parts of the project are open source, but not the whole project itself, right? So for example, this UI library that you're looking at, that's open source, and any contributions are welcome. And of course, there are a few other libraries, but the whole project itself, unfortunately not. I mean, you never say never. Maybe one day it will be. Cassie, my friend, you're here again. Thank you, man. How are you doing? And yeah, set file is no longer there. So I'm pretty sure that I replaced this by, are we in the stories? Yes, exactly. So I've replaced this handle crop complete. Yeah, I see. Yeah, so basically we have on complete now. So yeah, we'll now slowly but surely. So let's try this. Yeah, so I've changed it quite radically, right? But it's okay. So let's go to set file. No, sorry, shit, that was a bad one. That's not actually what I meant. So let's say on complete file, it's a blob apparently. That's how I did it. And console log file, let's see. So cancel, upload. Yeah, but it's now an image. It's of course it's an image crop. Yeah. So I think this src is most likely the problem now. Let's see how I build this. src, it's a string, so that's correct. Set crop on air, log, circular, so that's all great, I think. Very nice, man. It's the same for me. My wife got a flu, so I've been running around her past day or two, just making cooking and stuff. So now she's also sleeping with my kid, so that's why I kind of joined you guys a bit to hang out on this Friday night. Currently, I'm using Redis and Postgres, and one day we're gonna probably add Neo4j or some other graph database when I have the time and when we get that far. You like it? Okay. Yeah. I got a little bit bored of it because yeah, we listened to it for so many times. Okay, just bear with me for a second, guys, because I just want to make sure that we do this properly, right? So let's see. Okay, so src is image. Yeah, it's a string, so that's good. With image crop, yes. Compression, allow types, max file size. That's all cool. Handle crop complete. So yeah, we do get a blob, and then I'm compressing the stuff here. So that's all kind of all understandable. I like that. I think it's just the src in our case for some reason is wrong. And where do I set this upload avatar? So, and I do this in here, right? On file loaded. Okay, so maybe that's the problem. Let's see, file. And then dot file. Maybe I need the blob in here. So let's take a look at that, right? So if I go here, let's just actually structure this file in place in here. Let's see what happens, right? So cancel, upload. Yeah, no, it's just that the crop itself doesn't get the right thing, right? Oh wow, we got a new resub. Thank you very much, buddy. I have a silly question. If you build an app using framework like React or Vue, can you host it on your own hosting site, or does it need to be using? Of course, you can host it anywhere. I mean, Vercel is just yet another company, right? Vercel is just another company, right? I mean, but of course, you can host it anywhere you want, right? I mean, that's the problem, and I find this so dangerous, man. This whole Next.js crap, man, has affected especially junior developers in such a bad way, man, because they're so heavy on marketing. People are starting to think that Next.js is somehow some sort of a superpower, right? It's crazy, man. Like what they did to people. It's genuinely scary, man. It's literally what they did in a marketing sense. It's brilliant, man. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Seriously crazy stuff, man. Oh, do I still actually have a file prop? No, I don't think I have a file prop anymore, right? No. No, not really. I mean, I'm not a fan of anything, right? I mean, I've been programming for almost 20 years. I mean, I've changed 5 million tools, right? So I'm not a fan of, I don't glorify tools or stacks, right? It's crazy just that how much they infiltrated the actual community, right? With somewhat, you know, like a fallacy of some sort of brilliance, right? It's crazy. It's like, oh, server-side rendering. I mean, we've been server-side rendering websites for 30 years, right? I mean, WordPress has been server-side rendering websites, you know, for you know, it's just crazy, man. It's crazy stuff. It's almost as if, you know, there's some sort of a yeah, crazy. So okay, so the problem is that yeah, the local SRC is not actually set. So let's see. I don't think it's a lot faster. Somebody on YouTube is saying they made it faster. I disagree with that. What exactly is faster? I don't get that premise. That's true. That's literally pure marketing. What exactly is faster, right? I mean, the thing is, and what is fast, right? I mean, right? I've never in my career seen developers as past 5 years, right, use these words which are completely plain and absolutely empty, right? People come to, right, very often to the stream and they tell me, oh, why don't you use this? This is better, right? But then I say, why is it better? And then that's where the argument ends, right? We cannot explain these things in such plain, primitive words. Oh, this is better. This is faster. This is, what do you mean faster? What do you mean better? You get what I mean? So there's so much marketing. There's so much this hipster bullshit in this community, right? That when you actually try to narrow down to what people are saying, they don't know what they're saying, right? They just hear these marketing buzzwords on the internet. Oh, if you use this, this is faster. Oh, this framework can handle this many requests and this one, but they never actually reach the point of ever having, you know, scalability issues in their lives, right? So it's so much marketing. It's crazy. It's almost like you have those content creators and each one of them has their own tool, right? And each one of them is pushing for the tool that they're using to build their content, right? So it's crazy. It's so dangerous, and it's dangerous to younger, you know, individuals who are just getting into the industry, because instead of trying to be an engineer who makes decisions logically and factually, you are now following some Twitter heroes, right? So this guy on Twitter wrote this, so it must be true. And that is so dangerous, and it's so dumb. It makes no sense, man. I mean, it's genuinely crazy shit, man. Crazy stuff. Oh, okay, so I think I've actually replaced those two handlers with a single one, right? So maybe that's the problem. JavaScript is a beautiful language, especially if you understand it. So that's really a good time of that's a very good way to invest your time for sure. Data, what did I wrote this? I wrote this. How did I write this? I have base64 file. Okay, great. So that's actually correct, right? So in a way, so I have a yeah. Also, okay. So let's just say here data or something, right? I don't remember how I wrote this library. Okay, and let's just comment this out for a moment, because now we're switching to this again, open source stuff we wrote, right? Okay, so go here and let's click this bad boy. So what did we get on files, on select file, on select? Where is this actual console? What? Ah, I clicked the wrong project, did I? Yeah, I did. Okay. So okay, good. That's great. That's super good. So that's pretty much what we need, right? So now this is kind of, so you should definitely give a shot to this thing I wrote. I think this is an amazing file. So I implemented basically image cropping with an awesome file input, and it was all built on the stream, and then we took the time to write tests for it and stuff. But it's a really good thing. You should give it a shot, because I implemented compression and a lot of the other things. I think it's pretty awesome. Okay. So what do I get here potentially? Actually, let me go back here. How did I, which types did I actually write? File name basics. Okay, got it. Okay, so there's really that this is never gonna error out. It's gonna be something else. I see. Okay, so let's go here, and that's great, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna say here actually file, which is a base64 file, I suppose. And then here we're gonna say file, right? And technically that should kind of get us now somewhere, right? So now we do this and this. Let's see, did something happen? Oh, ooh, okay, wow, okay, sorry. I named it blob. That's, I thought I was almost certain I named it file. Okay, that's a little bit weird. That's a little bit weird. Let's try that as with a blob. Because, yeah, there's no such thing as... Oh, never mind. No, never mind. I think I was actually right. I was right. Wait. Plot avatar. Yeah, Tailwind is the most natural, I mean, way to write CSS. It's the actual way that I remember 15 years ago, that's how you would write CSS. You would create class names, classes, you would use IDs, and that's what constitutes a class, right? It's a utility, reusable utility, right? I mean, I use TypeScript for all of my libraries, right? For all the open source libraries, I use it. For this project, we're not using it because it doesn't help. It would just slow us down even more. Because keep in mind, this whole platform is built on the stream, right? Would you consider Tailwind the standard nowadays? That's I mean, yeah, that would be a little bit too much, right, to say. But the thing is, I mean, so one thing that I can tell you, but my personal opinion, of course, we don't have to agree. So all of this crap that I saw past 5 to 7 years, this CSS in JavaScript, CSS modules and that crap, that was the most idiotic thing I've ever seen in my life. Throughout the years, right, as I was going through the sea of that crap, garbage, right, I never understood why we went that path, right? That was such a terrible idea, right? Because fundamentally, if you need to dynamically add an element to a div or any HTML element, sure, you can do that. You can use a style tag and then write some JavaScript, right? Or you can even use class names module or just dynamically add or remove a class. But this whole bullshit of generating the whole CSS with JavaScript and then calling functions, man, like, I think no other community on this planet can make that other than the JavaScript community, man. It's like, that was in my opinion the most terrible thing ever. I never... Okay, so wait a minute. So now we're setting a file, right? So this should technically set a file. Let me just try it once more. And then we should almost be there. Is this actually being called now? Image input. Yeah. So is it actually being called? I don't see it being called. Oh, it is. Okay, wait a minute. So what? Try that again. Okay, I see. So we did set the file now, right? Okay, great. Then where's this local src thing? I see. Okay, so let's take a look what we actually changed so far, because I must have messed something up. Set file. I think I know probably. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah. So it's because of this, right? This is what we're basically missing now. Okay, got it. All good. All good. We're gonna get there in a moment, I think. So we just need to call this, right? Which will constitute that we can probably just remove this, right? But let's see in a moment. Okay, well, we got somewhere at least. So that's okay. Let me just read. Are you using Next.js? No, I'm not. I'm using plain React. Okay, so that's good. So now we have that src, right? And probably right now, right, the reason why it's complaining, if we go back to the previous thing, right? Let's take a look at that. So on select file, where is it? Set local src, yeah, on file loaded, set local src file, that's correct. Now, maybe it's complaining that it's a base64 file now, and that's what it dislikes, I think, right? Rebecca, my friend, good evening. Good to see you as always. Okay, so yeah, so let's just say here data. Let me just do it like this, right? Because data.file. And let me not do this, and let me just print the data, because I don't remember, even though we could technically, I can go to my types, right? Let's just go there. Let's see, what did I say? So we have file name, file, and base64 file. I'm just trying to use Yale, right? Rebecca, if you remember this thing, we open source those component library. I'm just trying to now use these things, and because we improved them a lot. File name. Where is it? Okay, so yeah, going back here. So let's see. So we have where's the image crop? So we have local src. So let's basically print that, just right. Let's print that. Let's print this bad boy. Yes. Okay. Let's cancel this. Let's try this again. So local src is null. Wow, that's super weird. That's annex. Yeah. Yeah, well, because we're not actually setting it, right? We commented this out. Okay, got it. All right. Okay, let's try that again, and let's see what it's gonna be now. So upload this, and I'm a little bit afraid now that, and that's what we have to check now in the actual library itself. It's almost like we're getting some silent errors, because right now this is kind of no. Yeah, so here's the local src, right? So maybe should we just try setting the file name? It's instead, let's go back here. File name, right? So yeah, I'm almost certain this is correct. So let's see what's up with our image crop, right? And why doesn't it like it? It's a single page app. That's correct. Yes. Okay, so let's go back to our storybook here with this fella, right? So let me go actually to this project. Let's see what am I doing here. So if we go to this example with, no, that's not the one. Yeah, image input stories, and then with image crop. Okay, what do we have? Set image. Ah, it's base 64 one. Okay, okay. I see, and then what do? I have the image. I see, okay. Got it. So here I have to say base 64, right? And then that should kind of give us the result that we want. And yeah, there we go, right? Okay, cool. So now if I, yeah, so now basically as before, I should be able to do this, and that's nothing new there really, right? The file size exceeds, yeah, we'll fix this in a moment. That's beautiful. Okay, very good, very good. That's great. Okay, so going back here, we'll need to adjust this slightly bit. So where is it? Where's our image input here? So let's just, so you can see that upload, clicked on the wrong project again, sorry. Upload your avatar, right? Image input avatar. Yeah, that is actually a little bit weird, because the file exceed, let me actually, where did I implement this error? The file exceeds, let me actually find it here. Where did I implement that in the library itself? Louis GUI. But am I actually showing, yeah, that's fine. Am I showing some input error here? No. So basically we'll need to just do a push to npm and fix this, because this thing seems the file size, give me a second. So the file size, it's a little bit weird that I'm not finding it, right? So let's go to image input, the implementation here. So what did I do? Yeah, so let's take a look at that input error. So I have the input error here. I have the error, exactly, yeah. So it could be definitely that, yeah, this is lacking a little bit, for sure. I can see what's happening, right? Let's actually, let's go to our storybook here. So if we go to image input, yeah, this one, for instance, right? And let's just do something with the story so we can cause this error, right? So let's go to the story itself, and let's reduce the max file to like 5 kilobytes. So right now it should really fail every single one of them. And since we're looking in a specific story, yeah, with image crop, yeah, so let's just reduce the image size completely. Let's see, what do we get here? Yeah, so I have this on validation error, okay? That's at least seems what I implemented, right? Let's see, what is that giving me? I don't genuinely remember. I don't remember how I did this. Let's see. Yeah, that's a little bit weird. Something's off here. I don't think I'm getting anything. Wait. Yeah, so why am I not getting it there? Right, let's see. Yeah, that's a little bit weird. Because I'm checking the wrong story. Fucking idiot. Okay. The size of an avatar should exceed. Yeah, Okay, got it. Yeah, right, right. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, good, right? That's good. Okay, great. There we go. Okay, so let's improve this, right? So if we go into my implementation here, and then we're gonna have to bump this version and push to npm, right? So actually, that's what we forgot, and that's great. That's not a problem, right? So here, pretty much what we have to do really is we have to ensure that this has some base class, right? So here we're gonna say flex. I'm gonna say flex call and maybe get4 or something like that, right? And maybe we can say text center, right? So when you get an error, you get now. Yeah, I mean, because yeah, this is no longer just built for programmer network. It's an open source component library, right? It would be maybe nice. Yeah, let's not do this, right? So let's leave it. Actually, no, this is all great, I think, because I did provide input wrapper class name, right? Because so essentially, what does that mean? That means that we actually don't need to do anything. I can just go to programmer network frontend, right? I can go to image input, right? Image input. And here I can say, yeah, I can just say, hey, you know what? Just take these classes. And now in our project here, you can see that this should be basically fixed automatically, right? The file size exceeds the limit of. So that's great, right? That's good. Let's see now. Maybe it even works, but yeah, it does work. There we go. Okay, great. So that's not terrible, right? I think. But what we want to do, pretty much, we want to do something similar to what I did with this story, right? So if we actually go back to this, let's just revert. No, that's not what I wanted. Let's go back here. No, not really, right? I meant let's go. Let's increase the size here to like 5 megabytes or something like that, right? So now if I do this, and then if I start cropping or whatever, this is going to give me the preview here to the right. And that's, I think, what we should probably add to programmer network. So when you're uploading your avatar, you can actually see the real output, the real size of your avatar on your profile, right? Because if I go to the production to programmer network, if I actually log in, if I go to my profile, right? No. So the button the button is broken, right? When I move this to, so no, it's not normal. No, so this is broken. This is the regression that we introduced when I moved stuff to this Yale thing, right? So we need to fix this. Yeah, you can see now when I hover, it has a wrong hover color. It should invert. It should really be inversed, right? So it's a bug. We need to fix that, and it's a Tailwind type of issue. So because if I go to Yale, right, it actually does work properly. So if I go to button here, button story here, right, you can see that it actually does work. So it's something production related, probably, yeah, Tailwind just-in-time compiler messing up something. As you can see here, actually, it actually does properly work. So we'll need to fix that. It's very annoying. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, going back to this. Yeah, so we somehow want to implement something cool where, you have an original image and then you have a, like something like this, right? Okay, but let's actually implement that in this Louis GUI library first, so we kind of know. Yeah, so basically what we can do here, right, we can just, instead of doing this logic, we can say, hey, if there's a cropped image, do this. Otherwise, we're gonna say, hey, we can just do something like this. We can say div, and we can say, class name is gonna be bg gray, I don't know, 400. We can say height 100. Width 100, right? And that's shitty. Let's kind of figure it out. Yeah, that's all great. It's just now figuring out the layout, right? That's the hardest part, especially when streaming, right? So wait, so basically we have, once you start reducing that image, the box that illustrates how that is gonna look like in the real size for that given context is gonna look like, right? So the question is, so if we have this button as we have now that says, you know, upload your image, and initially it's basically empty, or it's just showing your existing avatar maybe here. So how the hell should it work? So when you actually select an image, right? So you're gonna essentially select an image like by clicking on this guy, and then we need to show that crop area, right? We have a crop area, and then I guess we have the original image for that specific context. And then I guess this button could be somewhere around here, right? So we need to figure that one out, right? Yeah, let's play with that a little bit. Okay. So one of the most unclear things about this crop area is it's actually the crop area size that we want to allow, right, in this specific context. The problem is I don't actually see this getting I don't actually see this getting any smaller. That's a little bit awkward, right? So what constitutes this, right? It's a little bit weird, right? Because if we set the actual static width and not max width, let's see, does that change anything? Yeah, so now it changes it, right? And then I suppose, yeah, okay, so maybe, yeah, exactly, right? So that's the problem. Okay, that's great. So let's do that instead, and let's say 350 pixels, right? Now the biggest problem with this thing is that the aspect ratio of this image is correct. It's basically a square, right? But if we would choose some other shit, right, something like this, then how does it actually, what does it do? Give me a second. So let me choose this. Yeah, and then this crap here also needs to be a proper size of it. Okay, well actually this needs to be cropped image in here, right? Yeah, and then this shit here, right? This is a little bit weird. Cropped image. Because this now seems to be shown in a wrong way, right? I don't actually know. Or maybe just this dummy kind of example we have here. So should we say here class name here is with 100 height, you know, 100, and what is it, BG cover or something like that, right? And obviously BG cover is not gonna, yeah, so you can see that so that's the problem, right? Yeah, that's pretty terrible. Because we can't keep, like, it's resizing the image because of the aspect ratio, right? So as you can see, if I choose any image that's kind of the square, that's gonna be fine. Yeah, So that kind of sucks, right? So we need to figure that one out. Crop image class name. So let's go into this thing. How did I implement this? Crop image class name, and where is this crap implemented? Where did I implement this? I see, okay. So it is the image itself. Okay, there's a reference on load. All right, got it. Okay. Okay, so we are passing this stuff to the actual image. Okay. This is what we're giving to the image. It's just so BG aspect. Wasn't there? Wait. Yeah, exactly, right? So aspect square. So this is what I want to try. No, yeah, so yeah, that's a little bit difficult, right? It's like, what do we do in this context? Because if we don't set some constraints here on the image itself, then it's just like super large, right? And that kind of sucks then. And the cropping area now, I suppose it's fine, right? Yeah, it is. It is 300 by 350 by 350, yeah. I mean, I guess what we could potentially do is no, that's not what I want. What the fuck? No, like, what is this crap, man? Okay. Yeah, so, okay. So this is our preview, right? This is our preview. Let's use our Agent Code Van Debug. So Agent Code Van Debug is our own LLM, our own large language model. So let's say, can I use what is it called? A BG cover on an image tag with Tailwind CSS. Exactly, that's my problem. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, I see. All right. I see. We visually, I think we will make it look like this, but we'll have to see about a few things. All right. So yeah. So if we actually go over here, right, and search for image, right? Jesus Christ, man! Why do I keep losing that stuff? So if we go down here, right, and we improve this slightly bit, let's say class name, and we need to have something like this, right? We would do something like this. Jesus Christ, come on. So we'll do something like this, right? We would get rid of this. We would get rid of this. Yeah, and then we would kind of have this as a base class right here. Oops. And then we can get rid of this crap, right? That's not it. Let's see now. So we have the relative container, we have the absolute image, So maybe now, let me actually take a look at that. Maybe now it actually doesn't like some of this, so we'll see. Yeah, I mean this makes sense, right? This does make sense, but it doesn't really work properly, does it? Yeah, this is not what we want, right? Yeah, that makes kind of no sense, right? This size, what the fuck is happening with this size now? That's so dumb. Shouldn't this be like... No, actually, sorry. It's supposed to be here, BG cover, right? All right, so, okay, I see. And is this a BG cover now, actually, or is it not? Let's see, will things get scaled really strange? Let's take a look at that. I don't know, actually. I don't genuinely know. It doesn't seem like it. Let's get over here. So let's actually say here H350 with 350 as well. And then we can probably extend this with a prop. So it does seem now that that images are not actually being scaled, but that it is BG cover. So I think so here we have object cover, we have BG. What would be... Okay, BG right top. Let's just play with this and see if it's actually applying any of that. I think it works. I think it's I think that's what we want, right? Yeah, I think it works for the most part. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good, right? So now what we have to do here, obviously, right, is because we don't want to apply this same thing. We don't want to, we still want, this is a library, right? So we need to keep this extensible, you know, for everybody, right? So we cannot just do this and say, because for programming network, I might want this. For some other people might not want this, right? So we need to kind of rethink the props, and then we need to redeploy this. So, image crop, class name maybe, and then here, yeah. So we'll think about it, and then this fella could be essentially class names, image crop, wrapper class name. Bear with me. We'll yeah. And then here we can actually do this, and we can say, hey, so those are the defaults, basically. Apply these defaults if person doesn't provide this sort of stuff, right? We can do the same, pretty much the same here, right? So we'll do this, and then yeah, we'll say, hey, well, you know, if you know, do this if yeah, if this is not provided. Now, are those class names actually named? Well, probably not. Let's just stare at it for a second. Image crop wrapper class. I mean, yeah, we can technically leave it like this. It's okay, right? Okay. So let's update our types. So we're gonna have this fella here, and then we're gonna have right, and then yeah, we'll have to update the types, right? And the tests, I don't actually remember if I wrote unit tests for this. I don't remember. Actually, let me see if I wrote any tests for this component. No, we didn't. Well, that's the beauty of it, right? No tests, no headaches, right? So yeah, so we'll write a new story for this. So we have some defaults now, right? And yeah, we'll get rid of this for now. So now the default here in Storybook should be 350 pixels, right? The crop area, and then this thing here is obviously just inside of our story, so we can fiddle with that. That has no significance. That's rather this thing in here, right? So here, I guess we can say width, I don't know, 150, and height, I don't know, and h. 150, right? So if we get back here, Marv, my friend, good evening, good to see you. And this obviously suffers from the same problem, right? But this is a story, so this is not related to this component. But technically, right, we could technically copy paste the same logic for the preview there, right? So if I go over here, right, and we just smack this bad boy in here, right? Yeah, so if we do something like this, yeah, exactly, right. So if we do something like this, we pretty much need to wrap it in the same. So we need to make this, so we need to have a div in here. This has to be a relative type, right? So it can contain the absolutely positioned element, right? That's the relation between relative and absolute elements in CSS, right? And yeah, so over here we can smack, yeah, so we can actually get rid of this thing now. And then yeah, over here we can just say, hey, this is absolutely positioned element. And instead of height full and width full, yeah, we'll just say width, I don't know, 150 and h 150, right? Barcode, my friend, good evening. So now if we fiddle with this, let's see if it makes any sense. Actually, if cropped image, height 150, BG left, yeah, so let's get rid of this. Atlas OS, nice, man, nice. Yeah, so what the hell is happening? H object cover src is there, yes. Is it because, give me a moment. Yeah, exactly, it's because of the parent, right? Technically, yeah, I reversed it, right? So let's undo this. Let's undo this, and then this guy needs to have the width and height, right? And now this should kind of technically give us the non-pixelated shit, right? So if we do this, the reason now for this pixelation is because image compression isn't lossless. It's you know, here I have an image compression quality, right? So you can see if I set this to 1, most likely, right, that pixelation should be slightly lesser than right, and it kind of is, right? So if I go here, yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. All right, well, that's great, I think. So now what we have to do with this file, let's see actually what we changed in our core in this thing, right? So so that we will not change image crop, blah 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 blah. So we've updated the types again. Let me just run those tests again. Yeah, all right, cool. That's great. You know, in fact, we can just as well, yeah, we can just discard these changes, right? So let's just say, where is it? Yeah, let's just say revert selected ranges. So we don't want to do this. Really, this we want to do, right? What do we do here? So we changed just the names of the classes. Okay, great. I like that. Then we used it here. We added some defaults. Yeah. We updated the story, so that's good. Okay. So we need to do a new release with this. And we will, in fact, right? So we need to go to package.json. And what is actually this? There's some unsaved file. Yeah, exactly. So we'll just commit that as well. We'll go to package.json. We'll bump this version. We'll create a new tag. So yeah, let's go to cd programmer network GUI. We'll create a new tag called 30. Did we add a package.json as well? Did we bump this version? No. Yeah, we'll commit this. We'll say improved, what was it? Image crop. Let's just say extended image crop component with additional image props, right? So we commit this, and then we push this new tag, and our CI that we've built recently is gonna do the job, right? So if I go to GitHub and I go to Yale, right? Yeah. We go to our actions. Yeah. Fuck. What is this? Yeah, that's kind of wrong. No, this is not good. Why? Nah, that's not correct. We'll need to stop this this thing. Give me a second. Yeah, that's incorrect. I don't know how that happened, genuinely. I don't genuinely know how that happened, but we need to cancel that CI. Yeah, that's so weird, man. That's super weird. Okay, let me try one thing. Oh, this is not correct, man. What the fuck is this, man? Yeah, we'll see about that, because we did... Maybe that's the latest commit, maybe that's why. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of okay, I guess, right? It's still gonna work. It's just that this is a previous one, right? So that's good. It is kind of there. And then... Yeah, this one is the actual, yeah, it's a different thing, but I think it's good. So I think once this gets deployed, I think it should be fine. Yeah, let's wait for that a little bit. Let's wait for that a little bit. All right, and then what we will do in a second inside of this project, we'll find Yale and we'll bump it to this version. So I'll quit that, I'll quit this, we'll prepare this. So we'll say pmi. Yeah, actually this one, right? It's gonna be 31, but we need to wait until it's actually deployed to npm, right? Okay. So this thing finished, now we need to wait for it to get to npm. Yeah, there we go. Let's go to npm. Did we deploy it? Yale, yes. Nope, that's not correct. Fucking hell, man. Nope, that's not correct. Who the fuck knows? It does seem correct, but why is there discrepancy between the version in my package.json and in there? That makes no freaking sense, man. Give me a second. So it is this thing, right? Why is it showing the wrong version here? It's crazy. Why is it showing version 1030? That's not the version. Fuck off, man. Wait, we're in a wrong project. Jesus Christ. I've been coding for many years, man. I've been working since 2008, and I've been coding, yeah. But it doesn't really matter how long have you been coding. What matters is where you've been coding and what have you been coding. So I would rather say there's a huge difference in there. What the fuck, man? So how did we end up in this state now? This makes no sense, man. Our version here is different than the version on npm. That's completely weird. Makes absolutely zero sense. Yeah, what the fuck, man? I mean, it's okay, right? I mean, worst case I can do, right? It's perfectly fine, right? I'll just say update package version, right? It's just a little bit weird, right? That super good word. Super strange, man. Super strange. Okay, that doesn't really, I don't care. I don't give a shit. All right, so let's get over here and let's do this, right? All right, cool. So yeah, so technically now I guess if we manage to actually properly push this, which I don't genuinely know, did we? Yeah, it doesn't seem like it, right? Does it? But let's actually now go to our front-end project, right? So let's search for image crop. Is that what we've updated, right? Yeah. So now we can actually get rid of this. No, experience is everything, right? Don't take me wrong. I agree with you, right? It's just even experience is relative, right? I mean, you can work for a year or two in a company where you gain more experience than in some place, you know, where you worked for 5 years, right? So that's what I mean. But absolutely, experience is what determines seniority. It's not your knowledge in a framework, right? So I agree with you. It's just you know, you can be working in a very shitty place for a long time and very much stagnate to a huge degree, right? So it's more about that. But I'm with you. I'm definitely with you. Just bear with me a little bit. So what the hell happened now here? It's a little bit weird. So let's actually let me just go like which version is installed now. We had that little discrepancy there. That's a little bit annoying. Programmer network, Yale, source components, image crop, index. So this is technically correct, yeah. Oh fuck, man! It's so this is one of the downsides of Tailwind, right? Because we conditionally render these classes, it actually never created those two classes, right? So that's a little bit weird, right? It doesn't really matter, right? We'll fix it, but this is shitty, right? This is terrible. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll fix that now, right? Because we know, but we need to still update the Louis GUI again, right? Because it's a little bit weird, right? So what we need to do here really is we need to give it this image crop wrapper thing, right? So we'll say here, you know. And it's a little bit weird that it doesn't give us IntelliSense for this, almost as if, yeah, and the types are not updated. That's so fucked up, man. Are you kidding me? Yeah, we'll need to do another push of that, right? And then we'll just do this. So we'll need to fix this, right? Because of this just-in-time compiler, right? It didn't, because this was conditionally rendered, it didn't actually figure this out, right? And that's a little bit annoying. That's yeah, that's just how it is sometimes. All right, cool. So now technically this should be working, and it does, right? So you can see now if I select some image, the crop area is contained, and then right? One weird thing though is where's my crop area now? Did I by accident mess something up here? I think I did. And I think the issue is with, yeah, I shouldn't have passed this. Circular drop. Let's refresh this. Select your avatar. Yeah, actually, so now it's more or less fine, right? Yeah, so now it's fine. And obviously the image is very large. Let's try something like this. Wow, okay. That's also larger than 100 kilobytes. All right, interesting. Let's go with some pixel art. Is that larger? Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is larger again. Well, what the fuck? Is there an image that's not 150 kilobytes, man? 300 kilobytes. Wow, okay. So those are actually quite large. Okay, so they are actually super large. So this one I'm sure isn't. This is a simple PNG, so this should be fine. Okay, great. Does your project have any financial? No, absolutely not. No. No, there's no such thing. This is just an evening thing, and yeah, it's a very complex project, but it's also there's no incentive from my side for that, because this project right now provides no value. So I would not invest in this project currently. All right. Cool. All right. So, all right. So the next thing we probably want to do, if I go back to front-end or to Louis Gouy, right? If you go to image crop stories, I want to, in programmer network, I want to implement pretty much the same stuff, the preview, right? So we're going to do this thing here, and we're going to go to programmer network as well. So we're going to almost identically replicate that, right? So when you're actually uploading your avatar now in production, I want you to be able to see. Ti si naš bataraj. Of course, man. Of course I am. All right, so let's get here. Let's get over here and yeah. So let's just smack some random shit in here, right? Who cares, right? And let's just say here, if there's a crop, this is inaccurate actually, in fact, but let's just do this, let's try, right? I mean, so Byte, I mean, I can tell you, right? I'll answer your question, but it's a little bit weird, right? When I hear like, why are you using Fastify? I mean, don't take me wrong, I'm not judging. I will answer that question, right? But can you be a little bit more specific? What do you mean? Why are you? You have to use English, yeah. Can you be a little more elaborative? What do you mean why? Why relative to something else, or why in general? If you get what I mean. So if you can elaborate a little bit on your question more. When you say why, what do you mean? I see. So it's a general why. Like, why Fastify? Why not? Why even JavaScript? Why not Go or something else, right? Well, when it comes to Node.js, I genuinely believe that Fastify is the best thing you can use today to build your API. Why is it best? Well, it's the simplest. It's very, very primitive. Just like if you would write Go. Go is super primitive, right? Has no useless abstractions, has no useless patterns. And it's very fast to develop in, right? Because it's fast. It has a great developer experience. Now, besides that, you get Pinologger, so you get a really good logging library set up for you by default. You can hook into the Pino using the serializers and deserializers and some other things. It has awesome error handling. You get Swagger for free. So if I go to my API, right? So if we go to Program Network API, you can set up Swagger, a community built Swagger plugin for free, right? Why is it free? Because naturally Fastify uses another JSON validator, AJV, for validation of response, request, URL parameters, query parameters, etc., 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 right? So you can see my entire API is documented as a side effect of the language itself, of the framework itself, right? It's plugin based, so it's kind of microservice first, oriented in the context of how you write it. I already open source few libraries for Fastify, and again, right? The thing is, like, because this thing Nest.js and any of these things, so I think where JavaScript community is the worst community, right, on the planet, there's certain instance of it is that technical decisions are not made based on fact and reason. They're made based on if they're cool or not, right? Because, and this is fundamentally where many developers today are flawed. Your main goal when you're programming is to make things simple. And your main question along that way that you should be asking is why, right? So why do I want to use Nest.js? It has event emitter, it has decorators. No, that's not the correct response. It's not. You don't respond these types of questions by providing textual context of patterns that a certain framework encapsulates you with. The reason is why in the context of value. What it is that you actually get in the context, is it faster to develop in? Probably not, right? Exactly, I 100% agree. It should be exactly boring and ugly and simple, because fundamentally writing an API is a simple task. You have some function that gets executed when, you know, some request comes in, and then you run some logic in there, and then you respond to that request. So that's fundamentally what an endpoint is, right? And then you have many of these endpoints, which basically composes your whole API, right? So nest.js and all of this shit, nobody cares, man. I don't give a shit that it has this pattern or that pattern. Who cares? Is it simpler or not? And it's not simpler, right? If I have to write an endpoint and spread my endpoint in 16 different files, that's just logically not simpler. Now, don't take me wrong, you can use obviously whatever you want, more power to choice, right? But that's the reason why you would use Fastify, that's the reason why you would use Go. And you asked one more question, you asked, Alex, is it because of performance? Is it because amount of requests that it can, you know, do? Absolutely not, right? Because 99.9% of developers in their career never reach scalability issues. A lot of developers, especially those Twitter gods and YouTubers and content creators, they talk about some abstract imaginary performance, right? But when did any of you actually deal with performance issues? And even if you did deal with these issues, have they really been the API? Because fundamentally, if you ever get to the point of having traffic issues, you're gonna hit your limits on your database way before you hit your limits on the API. So this fallacy, this premise, how you're choosing your API tool always for the sake of the amount of requests that it can deliver, is just fucking stupid, man. It makes no sense. Yes, there's certain things, if you're building, you know, something like PubSub, if you're building something, right? If you're building some sort of a queuing system like RabbitMQ and stuff, of course that you want to use something like Go, something that has great concurrency model, you know, something that's, right, absolutely. But if you're building a shitty API for a website, it doesn't really matter, man, what you're using. Who cares, right? And this is the truth for the 99% of, you know, if you're working, you know, on some high load streaming service like Amazon Prime, Netflix, and some of these things, and you're 1 out of 20 people who is dealing with infrastructure, even there, right, you're probably running this on AWS, GCP, you know, Cloud Run or some shit like that. So even in these instances, of course, you want to make the right decision. So a lot of this technology talk is just bullshit, right? It's just people, usually younger kids, just talking about crap, but they never dealt with any of this, right? And I genuinely, I mean, I've been streaming now for almost a year, and I always ask, did you deal with performance issues? Because when people come to my stream and they talk about this, it's always an abstract concept. It's always that someone there might have had issues, right? So you initially, if you're building a startup, if you're building a product that has to get out there fast, build whatever you know best, whatever you're the most productive in, whatever you can hire the people easiest with in that region where you're living, etc., etc., etc. Those should be your metrics on how you choose a technology. If you, by some miracle, reach a point of having 1 billion users, right, I'm sure that you will have a sufficient amount of money and expertise and resources to rebuild that API in 2 weeks, right? But just, we need to stop this fallacy of some sort of a performance. What fucking performance, man? I mean, it's ridiculous, right? It's hilarious, right? It's just ridiculous, man. I mean, it's just an influencer type of bullshit, right? Just throwing crap around, making those younger kids horny when they hear these numbers. You know that Bun.js can serve 8 billion requests per microsecond. It's like, shut the fuck up, man. This is my approach, right? Because I'm a realist, right? I'm not an optimist, pessimist. I'm just a realist, man. I mean, let's be real. CSS blur, exactly. But look, I'm by no means saying that you should not be making technical decisions. You should be. I work as a tech lead in my firm, and I make decisions every single day, right? Of course that you want to pick the right tool for the right problem, and this is right. It's not that there's no differences. It's not like, oh, everything's the same. Not everything is the same, but in most circumstances, you should be choosing your metrics very carefully. And in most circumstances, the amount of requests that some tool can serve is the least relevant metric. Because if you get yourself to need 30,000 requests per second, right? That's a success already. Then you could, even with Node.js, even if you don't use anything, Node can do that. And then you can cluster it and you can say, let me now run 5 instances of this. Now that's 150,000 requests. Let me run 10 Cloud Run functions now. That's 300,000 requests. So there's so many ways you can scale these things that at the end of the day, in most circumstances, it doesn't really matter, right? So change your metrics, focus on the right metrics. I have a company now. How easy for me is it to hire a Node.js developer versus a Haskell developer? How expensive is a Rust developer and easy to find versus a Node.js developer, right? How easy is to scale my team, right? If I need another 2 Node.js developers, I can probably find them right around the corner on the street, right? So there's so many instances that you have to be mature when doing these things, and some of the metrics that sometimes you hear in these tweets or whatever, they're just bullshit, just meaningless, right? That's just how it is, man. That's my take. So what the fuck happened with this, man? All right, let me try to fix one thing. Just use whatever you're comfortable with and build things. At the end of the day, right? The only product of your skills, the only product of your expertise are the things that you can show to people. Talk is really cheap. A lot of people read Udemy, they watch podcasts, they can replicate the perfect words when you discuss things with them. But when you have to code, that's a different story, right? So I would much rather focus on building than talking, because again, talk is very cheap, right? It's just easy to mimic others and to repeat the same words, right? That's the easiest thing, right? Okay, so what the fuck happened here, man? Yeah, I mean, every language is super paid when you can do it right? That's the thing. You can make a lot of money, with any language, because you have to. It's not about the language; it's about the value that you provide as a developer. It's your behavior, your proactiveness, the value that you provide to your company. Are people coming to you for help? Are you autonomous? Are you the person who solves problems without just talking about them, right? I actually have a video on this you guys should watch. I recorded a couple of days ago on my YouTube. Let me just show it to you. It's actually kind of related to tech debt and stuff, but you should probably watch it later if you have the time. I speak about this. I think it's quite an interesting subject. Actually, in fact, you guys, if you want shameless advertising, no, not really. I don't give a shit. If you want to watch it, watch it. Otherwise, I don't care. But a lot of these things that we're talking about now, I actually have on my YouTube channel. And I think it's pretty good monologues. Where is the fucking playlists, man? I think Programmer Network Weekly, product reviews, work and productivity. Yeah, I think, yeah. And I think the latest shit is at the bottom. So I released those past 2 videos. Yeah, whatever. Anyway. I mean, so Byte Lordy, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm genuinely like, I mean, we could do it, right? It's just my goal with this stream isn't to be some sort of influencer, right? I mean, I want to come here, stream and just write code. And unfortunately, that isn't fun for most people. Most people, come for chatter, for bullshit, right, and stuff. So believe it or not, actually writing code on the stream is not a well respected thing to do, right? I mean, if you go now to Twitch and click on most of the other streams, nobody is coding, right? Everybody is talking bullshit as I am now past 10 minutes, right? So that is what people want, and I don't want to do what people want, right? You get what I mean? So what people want is something that I don't want to do, right? I want to build things. I want to build programming network here, right? Not so there's a slight disconnection between what I want and what people want. People want to get mentored for free and they want to talk for 3 hours, right? But I don't want that, right? So that's why, after a year I have sometimes on average 50-60 people watching. I could have had probably 400 if I was checking the latest CSS libraries and talking about bullshit, right? But it's just, I don't want to do this as a full-time job or any job at all, right? So it's in between the worlds, right? I mean, it's people just genuinely don't want to watch somebody write code. They want to talk about shit, right? And I get that. This is entertainment platform. It's not educational platform. So it's probably a pretty bad audience for this type of content anyway, right? I think if I look at my statistics on Twitch, I think majority of people are around age of 18 to 20 or something like that, right? So it's kind of, that says enough, right? Okay, well, that's what it is. That's how it is. We might have that sometimes. I don't know. I mean, that guy as well. That guy as well, right, is just talking crap for the most part, right? And more power to him. I mean, he found a niche, right? He found a niche, he's selling some fog, and that's great, right? All right, anyway, so yeah, that's what it is. That's how it is. That's just how it is. That's how it works. You can do it or not. That's the thing, right? So I'm still kind of in a little bit of mental conflict, Yeah, anyway, thank you everybody for your follows. That's pretty cool stuff. Okay, set locals src. What was I even doing, right? Okay, yeah, that's what I was doing. Okay, cool. So let's finalize this one and then we do something else. So what we're actually gonna do, right? We will probably wrap this bad boy in another div, right? And yeah, we'll make it a flex and we'll put some gap between them, right? Yeah, something like this. I mean, that's the thing on Twitch again. That's I never really watched anybody on Twitch. There's this DevDad guy that I like. He's a quite humble human being, and I think he's cool. It's just I've been kind of researching lately, just trying to see what mentality type of is. And every fucking stream I clicked on, there's this pirate gaming guy who has like 10,000 viewers. I think he at once I never saw him write any code, right? And again, it's not a critique. It's rather observation of what type of content on this platform people want, right? So it's not to say those people that I just mentioned are amazing. I'm sure they're amazing engineers and super good. That's not the point. The point is that it's not the code that people seek. It's just the chatter, right? Yeah, I mean, please, I would not dare to question any of them. Whatever they're doing, more power to them. It's more for me observation of what type of content people actually seek here, and they don't seek programming. And if you don't trust me, just go for the most streams, the popular ones. It's not the programming that's happening there, right? It's something else. So that's just how it is. And you either accept it and I'm holding on to my own thing, right? I don't give a shit, right? I'm just doing what I want and not what other people want, right? And that's how it is. Okay. So what is this cropped image? Set cropped image. Where handle crop complete? Oh, incomplete. Okay, okay, I see, I see. Yeah, but our on complete. I see, I see, I see. Okay, okay, got it, got it. Yeah, that's cool. So on complete, yeah, all right. So and then, and then I have some state there. Okay, well, I actually thought that we had this in Programming Network Frontend already before. I was almost certain we did, but that's a little bit weird. Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit weird. And since we're not using TypeScript in this project here, just get rid of that. Okay, so where is this? On file or something, right? Console, yeah. So let's say here, set cropped image. Oops. File, I suppose, right? I mean, yeah, we no need to create this lambda function here, right? No need to create another function on the stack, right? So let's just, yeah, so now we have a crop. I suppose here we want to say cropped image, right? Yeah, all right, cool. So if we take a look at this now, yeah, not yet, okay. Let me actually go to my Yale. What the fuck am I doing here? Set cropped image, compressed image. Ow. Oh, okay. And what am I returning here? How did I implement this compress? I think this is returning a promise. It's returning a base64 string, right? Most likely, right? Yeah. So technically, if just for now, what we should probably do here is, yeah, I guess shit. And what this on complete is returning, I don't remember how it's a file blob. So it's a blob that we get here, yeah. And we need basically a base64 image, right? So that kind of sucks, right? Because we're getting this thing now. And also, give me a second. So image utils compress. Did I expose these functions as part of this library, right? Did I do that? I probably didn't. Because I have these image utils that I wrote, right? And here in the image utils, we have pretty useful functions for handling images, right? Some shit. Yeah, I don't think I did. That's the problem, right? So wait a minute. Where's my utils library? So src utils index. So I am exporting all of these fellas, right? If we take a look at the dist and no, so actually we do have it, right? So technically we do have it, right? So can we yeah. So yeah, actually that's not terrible at all. So if we actually go here, right, we have Yale, right? So if I come here, I guess I should be able to technically do this, right? It's just very ugly. It's very ugly, so we should probably fix that a little bit. But we do have image utils here, right? So basically we should compress the image. Where is this? Set image crop. Am I in the right project? I am. Okay. Where the hell were we? Set cropped image, yeah, right? So I'll just slam that fella in there. So we're gonna say file. We'll just create an anonymous function here, right? But not really. So let's say here const compressed is image utils dot compress. I suppose it's like this. So actually I don't remember. How am I doing it in here? Input compress. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, so it's rather like this. Okay, so it's an async. It's an async function. So we're gonna actually get over here. We'll give this fella. We'll make it async. Yeah, we're not using TypeScript here, as I said, so we'll get rid of this cast here. And yeah, so here we're gonna say on complete file. We're gonna do something like this, I suppose, right? And yeah, there we go, right? So now we have the preview here to the right of how this actually avatar in our context would look like. Now, I will do my next pet project on Fastify, burnt out, to be honest, with .NET after one, maybe company was burnt. It's called Error Lens. The extension is called Error Lens. All right, so this is pretty fine if you ask me. My pleasure, man. My pleasure. Just ask whatever. If there's something you like, just ask, of course. All right. And what is our avatar size in Programmer Network? I don't actually remember. If I go to production, programmer.network, login. What is the... I think it was 100 by 100 or something like that. Yeah, 100 by 100. Okay. So yeah, so we'll make sure that when you actually preview, that you're previewing the correct size, right? All right, so the next thing here is though, so the only kind of shitty thing here now is that obviously we have to change. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter. All of this happens in the browser, so performance related, it doesn't matter. But I think, so this blob so this form data that we're appending, right, really should be the compressed one, right? So because now we are actually calling this compression thing in a place, I mean, where it does make sense, because you're basically previewing the image, and also you're previewing the image in the compressed state, so you're gonna actually see, and it's not lossless compression, as I said, right? So that is okay, but okay, actually it doesn't really matter. I think it's fine. Okay, and then over here somewhere, right, form dates, so we have the blob. So yeah, actually don't know if we can say image utils. And what was this again returning? I think it was returning base 64 image, right? Yeah. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, this guy, right? So how did I implement this? So it returns a promise, a string, and then data to URL. I think this canvas data to URL returns a string. So I guess base 64 string, right? Yeah, that's how I guess I implemented it, right? And why didn't I put a new line here? That's so awkward. Wow, okay, that's so annoying. Am I only one who is scared like what production code looks like? I mean, there's no code, man, that doesn't break. Every code is full of bugs, right? Code at Google, a code at your company, software development is an iterative process, right? Software degrades and improves over time, and hopefully it improves more than it degrades, right? But it's not a linear path of code, right? Every code has bugs, regressions. It's just the process around it, and the culture that you create around your team is that if you break something, you're responsible for fixing it, and you will be breaking things. We are all breaking things, right? Give me 1 second. There's no job on the planet, right, that anybody does where people don't make mistakes, right? You get what I mean? So there isn't a profession out there where people are not making mistakes. So why would software be an exception, right? Don't treat your job, Marcin B, good evening. Don't treat your job, right, as some sort of an exception. Programming job is no different than being a bartender and breaking a glass, or throwing a plate, or spilling your customer with a whatever, right? So it's and programming is very hard, right? programming is very difficult. Not the programming part itself, like writing the code, but everything around it, right? The process around building products, knowing what to build, when to build it, how to break tasks down, what to focus on, right? There's a million things. Building a software is a highly complicated process. Again, and the code is the least relevant detail in this statement. The code is the easiest part for the most part. The hardest thing is everything around it. Having a bunch of super smart people working together, complementing each other, team dynamics, company dynamics, objectives and key results. There's so many things, right? So that's why building software is so hard, is because it's one of the very few engineering it's one of the very few engineering how would I call them, boxes or whatever, where you engineer without knowing very little for the most part. When people are building a bridge, right? When people are building a bridge, they spend, when construction companies are building metros or roads, they spend months and years of documentation, research, math, physics. Thousands of different professions and experts are involved in this process. And then when the work starts, probably 99.8% of things are already set in stone, right? There are some exceptions, things are break, right? Software whatsoever is often built in a very different way. You build something with very little knowledge, very little context, very little domain knowledge, and that of course opens up a possibility of lack of quality, right? It makes things harder. Play one game, my friend. Good evening. All right, so going back to this, right? Let's just cancel upload. Okay. So I guess, where is this cancel thing? So yeah, here. So what do we have here? So we have this bad boy here, right? Yes, yes, yes. Na, 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 na. So, what did I want to do? So essentially, yeah. So, oops, I think we forgot to do this, right? So, yeah, okay. So we'll just center that properly, right? So right now it isn't actually centered. So, and what is this div wrapping? So it's wrapping those bad boys here, right? So that's great, right? So let's say here class name, we're gonna say flex again. We're gonna say flex column, right? And then we'll say we'll say item center, or actually should be maybe, yeah, right? So if I cancel this, that should still be fine. And then we're gonna say gap 4 or something like that, right? And then we really need to fix that hover. It's super annoying. Obviously, for mobile, actually, fuck, this dashboard is, I don't even want to go there. Actually, no, I think the dashboard, give me a second. Let's do this. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So let's make sure that's mobile friendly, right? So we're gonna say, hey, well, you know what, Alex, this should be, give me a moment here. So that's actually correct. I think here we're gonna say MD flex maybe, right? Just so these guys go beneath each other. So as you're cropping also on mobile, you can kind of see what's happening. Yeah, I mean, is this disgusting? I agree with you, for sure it is, but that's what it is, right? Maybe. So no, so let's actually do it like this. So let's say flex, and then we're gonna say flex or call, and then we're gonna say md flex row, and then we're gonna say items center, and then we're gonna say md items start, right? Maybe. I don't actually know. I genuinely don't know, but I think it should be like this, right? And yeah, that's correct, I believe, right? Yeah, if we switch to mobile view, then I want this thing to actually be cancel. Yeah, and that's a little bit problematic there, I think. Wait. Yeah, let's try this crap. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how experienced this is going to be. I do not use React query, no. No. I'm not sure what you mean, play one game. Do we have threads in Programmer Network? What else do you... I don't use anything. I just use state, and I have my own little wrapper around Axios. I don't have Twitter or Facebook or any of that. No, no. I have my own wrapper around Axios that I wrote. It's called request. I wrote this very long ago. So it's a very simple Axios wrapper that I just use interceptors request. I have, and that's really it. I use some Axios cache, right? So I'm using this Axios cache thing, but caching is very hard and very dangerous, and you have to ensure that you're really doing it properly, right? But you can add this on top of your Axios. It's basically just a cache interceptor, right? But I don't use a lot of these libraries for the most part. It's not that it's not that I'm not using them because I forcibly don't want to use them. I just don't need them, right? They're not solving things like, for example, this use query that you're mentioning, right? React query, it's a great library, but I don't need the features off of it, right? I don't need the revalidation, and I don't care about these things, right? Oh, well, what if a user has 4 tabs of your programming network open? I don't care, right? I'm not at the stage of the project where I care about these details, right? We're not there. We're far from caring about, oh, yeah, but what if user has, 6 tabs open in 3 different browsers? Then that's the user's problem. I think you should just clear the cache, play one game for Programmer Network, right? There's the time for everything, right? I mean, every project has a lifespan and a life cycle, and at certain times in your project you're gonna care about some things, certain times you will not care about these things, right? And I think that is where great teams, great product managers, great teams in general shine, right? They know what to focus on and when, right? Because what to focus on is a very simple thing. For the most part, that's an easy part of product development. When to focus on things is the hard part, right? That is the hardest one. It's not about, oh, we don't know what we want to do. Every company knows what they want to do. It's the when they want to do it is the question, right? And that's the best product managers on the planet. They shine on this thing, right? That's where they're really good at. Classical Serbian mafia member. Yeah. I mean, we are great at that, I can tell you that. Serbians are great at many things, but Mafia is definitely one of them. No question about that. No question about that. I agree with you fully. Is this... Oh, yeah, never mind, never mind. Actually, what the fuck? Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, it's rounded here as well. Okay, yeah, never mind. Jesus Christ. Okay, so how did we free... Front and... Yeah, I guess that's what we rounded full. That's what we forgot, I believe, right? Yeah. Okay, that's great. Okay, so I think the only thing now pretty much left with this, with using this thing, right, is I think is making sure that, so this image here now is compressed, right? But it's unclear, am I actually using that compressed version now to upload things, right? Because we have so we have set cropped image, right? Yeah, exactly. So we have this cropped image now. So technically we should be using that instead of this blob, right? But can we? Is the question, right? Can we do that? Yeah, I just create those variables myself. I create is loading in, you know, using use state, and that's how, just manually. All right, so let's take a look at this, because I want to see actually, are we now uploading the compressed? Yeah, and that's the problem, right? Yeah, because now, yeah, that's slightly a problem, right? Because I don't have any integration tests that you need a full-time person. How do you test integration between front and back end? I test them manually. And you can do that in various ways, right? I mean, you can do that with Postman. Postman is a great tool for that, right? You can use Swagger. You know, we have Swagger in our API. You can use Swagger a lot for that stuff. But if you don't want to write the actual tests, right? Tools like Postman are great for that, right? You can use your Postman to not only store your whole API, right? I mean, yeah, you push them at the same time, right? There's like a discrepancy of 2 seconds, right? So depending what you're doing, right? If you're making a breaking change in the API that would break frontend, then you have to push them at the same time. If you're introducing a new endpoint that your frontend isn't using yet, then you can just push it and then use it whenever you want, right? So it really depends on what you're doing, right? And how, right? But fundamentally, it really boils down to what the feature is, right? Yeah, so I kind of don't like this now, right? Because yeah, well, I don't know if I'm gonna clean that up today, but I don't like this little part now. Is because technically, so this cropped image now is basically a base 64 string, right? Joshua, good evening, my friend. How are you? So this is base 64 string, right? Which basically I could upload a base 64 and then just in the API, right, we handle that. But I'm not gonna do that. So the question is though, did I actually write any utility function here in the image utils? Because this returns a base 64 string. Like, let's see, what do we have here? Let's take a look at the outline. So we have compress read file as data URL. Yeah. I mean, yeah. We would basically need a utility function now that converts a base64 image into an actual blob, right? Into some sort of a right? So we need to compress it, then reverse that, right? From base64 into an actual image. Alternatively, right, we could just send the base64 image to the API and then handle that in there. Because I'm sure that here I'm using some multer from Fastify or whatever. Yeah, exactly, right. So here I wrote this service handle image upload that gets the request. I guess I have this decorator called parse image. Yeah, I do. Yeah, so it takes so we get a, yeah, okay. So we convert it to a buffer here. We check the file size. Yeah. Yeah, I wrote it. Yeah, I love this actually piece of code. I was it's a beautiful piece of code for sure. And something's is valid image, correct? If it's not valid, yeah. Beautiful. So all of that is good, right? The upload meetup cover photo, upload avatar. We get a buffer out of this image, right? And this request.file basically comes from, what is it called? Multi-part, right? So from this guy, right? TCK, man, good to see you, buddy. How you doing? Thank you for coming, man. Thank you for at least for coming to say hi, man. How you doing? I upload images to Cloudflare images. I'm using I'm using Cloudflare images. Basically, Cloudflare images is a obviously Cloudflare service. Think about it as S3 bucket on AWS or cloud storage and GCP and Google Cloud Platform, but just with an additional features for image uploads, right? So they give you image variation. So whenever an image is uploaded, they create a mobile version, for example, on the edge. You have this concept of variants. They have image variants, right? So and it's very cheap. I pay $10 a month for this. So technically, it's Cloudflare is probably the only company on the planet that I like. It's my favorite company, actually. It's the only company genuinely I can think of that I like. If like probably next company I'm gonna work at, like maybe in 2-3 years when we get sold at the startup where I have shares now in this startup and stuff, so I'm gonna be there for at least 2 or 3 more years. But this is the next company for sure I'm gonna work at, no question about that. Anyway, I can show you the service very quickly if you want. So if I go here to images, right? Actually, it's a wrong account. Sorry. Let me switch the account. So I go here. So if we go to Cloudflare images, as you can see here. Drab, my friend, good evening. So here are the images, right? So you can see if I click on an image, so some image was uploaded an hour ago. You can see it's this image that was uploaded, blah, blah, blah. You have the API as well. Anyway, but if we go... first I've used Cloudflare. So Cloudflare is probably one of the services that I used maybe even, I don't know, very, very long ago, 15-20 years ago. Why did I use it? Well, I was a young kid who was broke like most young kids, and these guys have provided amazing things for free, and they still do. So for example, and it's not that I like them because they provide some free stuff. Today I don't care, I would pay for it anyway. The thing is, there's so many great things you get when you put your infrastructure in front of Cloudflare. You get DDoS protection, you get rate limiting, you get page rules, you get a firewall. So for example, when you go to Programmer Network, you are going through Cloudflare. So the infrastructure, the way that I set it up on Hetzner is that only traffic from Cloudflare IP ranges are allowed to Programmer Network. So essentially, when you hit the Programmer Network API, you're basically my firewall on a host machine, on my bare metal machine on Hetzner, only allows traffic from these IP ranges, right? That makes me basically utilize all the services from Cloudflare. So again, an additional firewall, DDoS protection, page rules, service workers, web workers, etc. There's so many things, right? And then of course now they're adding those amazing services. Like, keep in mind that the front, if you go to programmer.network, this front end here is Programmer Network front end is hosted in Cloudflare. It's Cloudflare pages, right? And that's free. So this is where Programmer Network is hosted, and it's free basically, right? You get free SSL, of course. You get the full strict SSL certificate as well. Obviously, as you can see, if you go to Programmer Network, it's fully encrypted, right? So there's so many things that you get from. I mean, to be honest, people are mentioning that Vercel company so much. I mean, I don't. There's nothing. The Vercel thing is just amazing at marketing. There's nothing fundamentally amazing about Vercel, right? It's just it just builds and hosts your static site. It's not rocket science, right? So how is it? It's amazing. I mean, it's the same thing, right? You can buy the domain on GoDaddy or any other place, right? It doesn't really matter where you buy a domain, right? You can buy it anywhere, right? But that's it. And again, there are many things. I mean, I could speak about things that I'm using here for 3 hours, right? So I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, you have workers. You have. I mean, I'm using a lot of security. So a lot of security is done on Cloudflare, right? Yeah, actually, I don't need that. All right, never mind. Okay, that's just what it is. That's what it is. What is the time? It's okay. Well, what I'm actually gonna do now? Give me a second. I'm gonna give me 2 seconds here. I'll devote some time to some of you guys. Give me a moment here. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this. So I'm gonna devote a few minutes of time. If somebody has some questions, some discussions, I'm happy to respond. Otherwise, if not, I will head off. So let's see if any of you have anything to ask, or any of you need any help or an opinion. Otherwise, that concludes the stream today. I want to go and do maybe code off stream a little bit, or yeah. And of course, don't forget to sign up on Programmer Network. I would appreciate that. None of you actually signed up today. That kind of sucks ass. So if you're gonna stick around for some time, well, then please go ahead and sign up. I think that's the least you guys can also do if you wanna pay back or whatever you call it. I don't give. Why there is imperative declarative paradigm of programming? I mean, well, they exist for the sole sake of being invented, right? That's why. It's just different ways to think about code, right? Functional programming is about recursion and functions and pure functions and curring and various other things. Imperative programming is classical imperative language would be, let's say, Python, right? Where you I mean, all of that flow is built by me. Yeah, I mean, I generate a token that is valid for 10 minutes. Then I send you an email. You click on that email. You're sent to my frontend. My frontend then calls the API with that token. Then my API validates if that token is valid relative to the one stored in a database, and if the expiration time of it didn't expire. If so, then that's how. Yes, I'm using SendGrid. I'm using SendGrid for sending emails. Yes, that's correct. Yes, there are many services out there. The cheapest one is called AWS SES, but it doesn't come with any graphical user interface or whatever. NodeMailer has very little to do with these things. The problem with sending emails is not a technical problem. It's the problem of having verified mail service that other services like Gmail are not going to block. NodeMailer is just a way to, it's just a client, right? Sending emails is difficult because you need to use a service that's whitelisted, that's not blacklisted, that has high reputation amongst DNS servers and email servers, right? Well, Bexy, they are mixed in the languages where you can mix them. In languages like Clojure or Haskell, you can't mix them because those are purely functional programming languages. In JavaScript, yes, it's true that JavaScript is a mix of maps and reduces and various things. You even have libraries in JavaScript like Lambda.js, Lodash and stuff. Those would be kinda functional almost in a way, right? So yes, there are certain languages like dynamic languages like JavaScript and Ruby and Python and a few other languages where you can in fact write functional fakely in a way, right? Bexy, my pleasure. What book do you recommend for programming? I don't recommend any books. I recommend building things and learning through building. There are certain books like Clean Code, Pragmatic Programmer and stuff. Those are just standard books that you want to read. But depending on where you are in your career, if you're very junior, the only book that you need is sitting and building things. There is no secret book, there is no secret mentor, there is no secret program, secret university. The only way you can learn is to build. Everything else is just procrastinating and wasting time. So if you want to build, you want to learn, you need to build. And then books can come later, theory can come in time. But the only way to truly understand things is to build them, to fail, to brute force things so they just work. And then in time go back and yeah. Courses are amazing. You can get a Udemy course for $10 that can teach you everything. The problem is that people are watching those courses as if they were if they're Netflix. You know, to watch a course, you need to stop the video. You need to truly build things. You know, if a course is 10 hours long, technically you will finish it in 60 hours, right? You should be writing for things to work, and then as you get better and better and better, you will focus on performance, you will focus on different aspects of things. When you're new, your goal should be to build things that simply work. Even not knowing why they work is sufficient, and then you can walk backwards to understand why they work and why they don't work, right? That is how every profession on this planet works. As you become expert at things, then you go back, you question things, you focus on details, but you cannot focus on details until things are not even there to interface with them, right? So you cannot improve things which you didn't build in the first place. So focus on building and then improving and refactoring and measuring, and right. You cannot prematurely optimize things, because what is optimization? Optimization of what, right? It doesn't work like that. All right, any other statements, questions? What would you suggest to a developer who made 15 full stack projects, pretty good at fixing error and just hit the barrier? I feel like just needs a job to keep. I mean, you cannot. I mean, again, building side projects for the sake of having something in portfolio is you need a job, right? I mean, the real setting to learn programming is obviously a real job, right? Because again, programming is the easiest part of programming is writing code, right? The hardest part of programming is, as I said many times, everything around it, right? So to build up the soft skills, to build up yourself as a professional, you need to have a job, right? One thing is sitting home and writing to-do list apps and Spotify clones and Netflix clones. There's 7 billion of them out there. That's just one little segment of this work. Everything else relates to you being a good team player, good listener, proactive, autonomous, and so many other things, right? I have a video on that on YouTube. If you want to watch it, I can share you. I'll actually share a playlist. If you guys, you have it, you can find it. I have a video on that, just so I don't repeat myself. You can find the video somewhere in here. I think I called it, Will AI Replace Programmers? Will it take our jobs? So you can find it in that list if you wish. World modding games be a good way to... I don't know honestly what it is. I don't play video games. I don't think that sounds anything useful, no. I mean, yeah, so again, getting a job, getting a job, right, is a skill in itself, right? So if getting a job only meant knowing how to program, then everybody would have a job. So getting a job requires you to compose yourself, to build a persona around yourself, to know how to bullshit a little bit, how to sell yourself. Because fundamentally, right, we are all products. I'm a product, you are a product, and you need to sell yourself. You need to find a buyer, somebody who's gonna find your skills valuable, that they're willing to pay for, right? And you need to convince them that you are the person and not 1,000 other applicants, right? It's really a grind, right? I mean, it's for you guys. I mean, those are some of the things that you guys haven't been told, right? When you were starting, either to, for example, I've been a tech lead and a team lead in past couple of companies, and my success rate now today at getting a job is pretty much 100%, because I have a huge list of references. I've been working since 2008. I have a lot of people on LinkedIn following me, right? So when you get into the market and when you build yourself up, it becomes very easy. But when you're just starting, it's very difficult, right? And you just have to keep on going. I mean, it's a grind, right? You have to just keep applying, keep practicing, and keep learning. I mean, every interview that you get rejected, you can learn so many things about the market and about yourself, right? So, and as you polish that, as you fail, you write things down, you realize what you did wrong. So you have to have self-awareness, self-critique. And when you go to these interviews, and if you fail, if you get rejected, don't be sad, right? Be happy, because that was another opportunity, right, for you to learn, And then eventually you're gonna say the right things. You're gonna, behave in the right way, because interviews are broken, right? Interviews are just terrible, and you just have to go through that process. I mean, all of us went through that process, right? I can't read or write, can I still be? Yeah, absolutely you can, yes. I mean, it's kind of ironic that you actually wrote that sentence, so that makes no sense. All right, any other questions? I have chip in my brain that translates brainwaves. Chica, I would definitely code for an hour now for a good Burek, man. That would be amazing. We don't have that here in Copenhagen. Let's see if there's... Rune Paul, I wouldn't, man. I'm too stupid for that. What does it take to be a great software engineer? Well, to be a great software engineer really relates to all except writing code, right? To be a great software engineer really is about focusing on what it means to be a great professional, right? So first you need to be valuable, you need to focus on value, you need to be a person that your colleagues like to go to, you have to be a person that's autonomous, proactive, right? That doesn't just talk crap and bitches about shit, right? Like most people here on Twitch do, right? So what it means to be a great software engineer or professional means, you know, focusing on the client needs and the customer, building great products, building value for your company, integrating yourself in the workspace so people want to come to you, ask you for help, right? And various other things, right? As you grow in your career, right, more expert you become, soft skills become #1 skill you need, and you get a lot of diminishing returns on technical things, because technical things, as you become better, become less relevant, right? Because as you grow more to manager positions, you know, you write code a lot less anyway, right? So basically, yeah. So what it means to be a great software engineer is exactly that, right? It's just a lot of things which are not really related to writing programs, right? Yeah. We do have Discord. Yeah, I think we have the link to Discord here, right? I believe it's this, right? Yeah, there we go. All right, anybody else? Any other statements, questions, anything we can chat about? What's your VS Code settings for indentation like dots? I don't actually know. Let me check. I genuinely don't know. Let's actually switch to, give me a second here. Give me a moment. Let's take a look at that. I don't actually know long lead, right? I don't know. You can take a look at my setting, maybe take a screenshot or whatever. Maybe I can send you this, then you can figure it out. I don't genuinely know which one of these is this. I'll just create a gist I'll just create a gist for you. And then you can figure out yourself. It's render white space. Okay, got it. Well, there you go. Somebody wrote. I'm just gonna paste it in YouTube because those questions are from YouTube. Give me one moment. All right, cool. Full camera again. All right, so there was another question. Let me just see. There was another question. Do you have any issues open for contribution? Well, Programmer Network technically isn't open source, right? I've just open sourced some of the libraries. You're absolutely welcome to contribute to some if you wish. I mean, what the fuck is this? Give me a second here. I'll share a link to the Programmer Network organization, then you'll see some things. I mean, yeah, you can contribute. It's just that the whole platform isn't necessarily. So this is the organization. Give me a moment. And then you can find some, I mean, all of the stuff that's public that you can actually see, that's kind of open source. So there's use AJV form, there's Yale, there's a few libraries I wrote specifically. Well, it's no longer just related to this project. Fastify and for schema, I wrote this module for Fastify. So yeah, there's quite a few things in there. Well, for example, play one game, it would be useful to figure out why in production when... yeah, there is one thing that you can contribute to. So when I build for production, right, I can see due to this just-in-time compilation from Tailwind, hover classes are fucked up. So like if you go to programmer.network now to production and you hover over those filled buttons, you'll see that hover. So that would be a super useful thing to help with if you guys can, right? Because... I can actually show you, because that would be fun. That would be something that you can truly help with. So you can see, for example, if I log out here in production, you see now when I'm logging, hovering over this login button, it's kind of it's problematic. But if we go to Yale Storybook that we deployed, right, you can see that in here it's actually properly working. So I don't know if it's a setting in Programmer Network frontend or whatever. So maybe this would be a hard one for you guys to figure out, because again, maybe maybe I have some regressions or something left in the actual Programmer Network project, right? But I don't know. I mean, what you could do, where's full camera? What you could do as well is like you could just go to a few of the components that I wrote and see if something can be optimized, improved, right? Whatever, right? Cleaned up. Maybe, you know, are we missing a unit test here and there? Maybe you can write a unit test, whatever, right? But, you know, as soon as some of you guys show some interest to help, then of course I can come up with some tasks, some issues, right? But before everything, I would like you guys to sign up on the platform, if some of you, if you haven't already, and then try using the platform a bit, because then I'm sure you're going to find issues, and you can, I mean, you can, every single one of you can, in fact, contribute to this platform if you truly wish to do so, right? Right, so yeah, we have to find a way. I mean, it's my responsibility to find a way for people who want to help, right? Saddam Hussein, good evening, buddy. How are you? Namari, oh my god. Namari from Turkey. How are you doing, my friend? Are you good? Computer science second year. Got it, man. Good, man. Good. Just keep hacking at it. Just keep studying, man. Everything is knowledge. Knowledge is the only thing that nobody can take away from you, right? So just study like shit. And do you have Instagram account? No, I do not use social media. I only have LinkedIn. I don't have Facebook, Twitter, or any of that crap. No. How is it going with the project? I mean, it's going forward, right? Sometimes it's going better than some other days, right? But you know, I do this only when I have the time, right? And it's a large scale project, so so it's going. I mean, as I always say, it's always going forward, right? It's always going forward and never backwards. We're making progress, and yeah, things are happening. We're building more and more things, and there's more than, I think, 1,200 developers who signed up on the platform already. So no worries, dude. I would highly advise you to not watch my stream if you have something better to do. Because I'm mostly streaming, honestly, because of people like play one game, and people who stick around, I almost feel, I don't know, responsible, because they've been sticking around for so long, and it's a nice community, right? So I don't, for the most other people, I don't give a shit, because most of you will come and never come again in 3 days. So it's mostly about people who stick around, and they make me come back. They are like, hey Alex, are you gonna stream tonight? So it's those types of people that I come back for. So for the rest of them, I don't care. I'm just slave. Maybe a little bit. You can't live without me. You can't live without me, I know it. Let's see if there's any more interesting statements, comments, whatever. Stream tomorrow. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stream tomorrow. Yeah, most likely. I don't actually know, depending on my wife and kid. If yeah, but I think I might stream tomorrow. Yeah. I never know, right? I don't have a streaming schedule, right? Sometimes I stream 5 days in a week, and then I don't stream for 2 weeks, right? Saddam, no, not really, man. I haven't had a beer on the stream for a long time, and pretty much since that time when you were around. So no. Sorry, play one game. You have to be in my stream. You cannot go to a party. You just cancel it now. I'm sorry, dude. It's just how it is. Sorry, yeah. Jesus Christ, it's getting hostile in here. I used to play in bands for many years when I was younger, especially, right? I'm not in a band now because it's hard, to make a band when you have a kid and wife and full-time job and all of that shit. But I'm playing guitar my whole life, probably more than 20 years. I love music. I'm a musician as well, as much as I'm a programmer. So I love music. I play every day, and I wouldn't be able to live without a guitar and music as well, So for sure. I did sing a couple of months, I think I sang a couple of weeks, no, maybe 2-3 months. Yeah, we often do play some guitar in the stream. We might do that now over the weekend in case I show up for the stream, of course. Again, as I said, I never know. No, I can't now, man. I can't because my wife and kid are sleeping right next here in the other room, so I would wake them up, right? So, and it's like midnight here, right? You know what I mean. If I was living in a house maybe and had some garage or shit, yeah. But I live in a... Go to the roof of your building, exactly, that would work. You know, Cassie, how it is, right? You know how it is for sure. Yeah. That's how it is. That's how it is. Yeah. 9 to 5 office worker. Oh my fucking god, what an amazing nickname. I can see that he's a born troll. He's a definitely born troll. I love it. 9 to 5 office rat. I like that. It just brings us back to reality. I would never troll, of course not. No way. How would you even try that? Man, I'm a master troll, and I smell trolls, and I love trolls. So it's fine, man. Keep trolling. We're here to have fun as well, right? So, so that's amazing. But thank you for the follow, buddy. I hope to see you often around. I will join your social network of trolls. Let's just rename this platform of the troll platform. Troll.platform. Troll.network. I'm sure that there would be thousands more signups than there now, right? Troll.network. Alright, fellas, it seems that, yeah, it's getting silent with anything. So past 10 years, 10 millennia. Past 10 minutes, the stream has turned into a primitive group of apes. So I think we should probably round it up. The intelligence went to super low levels. So I guess that means that people have nothing normal to ask, which means we should probably round it up. Your best number one tip for a junior dev that got laid off and are searching for a job. Shit, man. I think I also have a video on that on YouTube, and as you can see, I keep saying more and more lately I have a video. And the reason why I started recording these videos is because you would be surprised how many times I get asked the same questions, right? And then but my tip for you, man, is if you live in a nice city, if you live in an area where you can go to join some meetups, go to meetup.com. Go to meetup.com, find some local meetups, network with people, meet people in person. In 99.9% of these events, they're recruiters on the spot, so you can meet people in person. You can skip some phone calls and stuff like that. So you need to network, you need to, as I always said before, right? The irony is that a lot of younger developers think that they should behave properly only in the interview. But how you conduct yourself in this stream, how you conduct yourself everywhere is going to affect how easily you're going to get a job. I have already helped several people, myself, to get a job throughout this stream because they were professional and kind and hardworking, and I would always be their reference, right? So, you should all of you should try to conduct yourself, no matter where you are, in the coolest way you can. Because you never know who is going to be a reference. Because here we're also networking, right? Here we're networking together, and we're all programmers. So, right? So it's all very much important, right? So meet people, go to meetups, and of course keep applying, right? You have to. It's a number game, right? It's a number game. You just have to keep applying, and you have to. Keep learning out of these rejections, toughen up, understand that it's not about you. 99.9% of people for each position are being rejected. It's not only you, right? And yeah, it's a number game. You have to keep pushing until you get something. And of course, it's very important, right? A lot of you youngsters, if I may say it this way, is like you have been brainwashed to somehow envision that programming job is some sort of a video game, some sort of a dream, right? Don't apply to some top-notch companies. There's millions of companies out there who are not building Spotifys and bullshit like that, right? So try to also find a job that's, if it's your first job, if you have no experience, then lower your expectations, find a job in a decent company it can be a brewery, it can be a coffee place, right? Find some product, somebody might need a website. So you cannot start, you cannot start on the highest peak. You have to start at the bottom and then climb your way up, right? This, I think, is a huge problem with a lot of people. You somewhat think that, oh, I'm a programmer, I must be working on the most fun project. Of course not. That's just a huge fallacy, right? If you want a job, you have to, right? AMBI, good evening, buddy, on YouTube. But that's what it is. My pleasure, man. Network with people, conduct yourself properly, make friends on this stream, make friends on Discord channels, make friends in YouTube comments, make friends on LinkedIn. Connections are everything. If you don't have connections, you are disadvantaged so much. People don't understand this basic fact. If you don't have people people who can recommend you, because you know how hiring works. Let me give you an example how we hire in Dream Data, but also how I hired the past 10 years. When you hire, first thing you do is you go to your existing employees and you ask, do you have any friend who is looking for job X? So you always first start in-house. You first start with, do we know anybody? Do you have some colleague that you have worked with before that you can suggest? And then if no, then you start broader a little bit. Then you start, right? I followed you on LinkedIn, but you won't try. What do you mean, Cassie? Really? I don't think so, man. I don't think that's the case. Let's take a look. Where did you follow me, man? I mean, a lot of people add me to LinkedIn, right? So I obviously have to ignore shit. But which one is you? Wait, where the fuck is this crap? Ah, I see. I see. Okay. But please message me or whatever, man. Just send me a message. Because sometimes people add me. I have no idea who they are. They don't say anything, right? So it's just like, I don't know. Because if I would accept every request, I would have like 5 billion people there. Just message me. Let's add each other. But yeah, network. Be normal, right? And understand that you never know who can help you in your career, right? So make friends along the way, not... Awesome, guys. Well, I'm sorry for those of you who just joined. I gotta go. I've been streaming now for like 2 or 3 hours. That's the top amount of hours that I stream. So I gotta go, guys. It's midnight here. Thank you very much for all the people who followed me on YouTube. Thank you for people who followed me on Twitch. Hopefully some of you might be able to sign up on Programmer Network. Please do if you can. And I wish you guys, I wish you guys a great weekend, and I might see you guys tomorrow, most likely. All right, sleep well, everybody, and have a great time.